If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.
Are you seeking guidance in love, relationship or career? Have you ever wondered how colours can change your life? Contact us now to speak to colour psychic Alison to discover your personal colour and choose the right colour to wear for that important date or job interview. Book a reading now on 0800 849 2310 or visit www.themoreshow.co.uk/book a reading.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host Kevin Moore. Joining me today are psychic Alison Sheryll, former Director of Advanced Space Program Development for the US Air Force, Dr. Robert M. Bowman, and we have a performance from singer-songwriter Jack Hobbs, so stay tuned. Joining me now is psychic Alison Sheryll. Now, Alison was partially trained by a psychic healer and spent a further 6 years studying at the College of Psychic Studies based in London. During her readings, she used various methods including oracle and tarot cards, her senses and colours to connect with her clients. Alison is also a member of the British Astrological and Psychic Society and regularly appears on the TV programme Psychic First. Alison Sheryll, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi.
Now, Alison, tell us about your work in colour.
Right. My work in colour, I have two different ways that I work. I work with colours that come to me when I'm actually sitting one-to-one with a client, be it over the phone or face-to-face, or at a show, face-to-face. Colours will come, I don't expect them, I don't imagine them, they just come and then I work with them. Different colours for different people. There may be the same colour that may come up for another person, but it may be in a different shade.
So this is when giving the clients a reading over the phone,
Either
or
yeah.
in person, you have these different colours that come to you as a sense of colour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very strong sense that it comes. And it's something that's happened over the years that I've been working as a psychic in this sort of area. It's something that's come along, it's evolved. Plus the fact, obviously, I've studied through, at the college. The colours came up in our studying, but now I take the colours, how they come to me.
Okay,
I work with the client.
So certain colours for certain clients
Yes.
Can mean certain, what would you say, moods or energies, or how would you? So if yellow was coming into your mind, for example, of a client, what would that roughly mean? Do you think?
That would say to me that this person is on a really happy time in their life. They're feeling very confident. They're feeling buzzy. They may have just gone into a brand new sort of work situation, or they may have gone into a new relationship, and they may be just feeling on top of the world.
Okay, so when you do a reading for a client, will you need them to give much information over?
Nothing.
No. So
when I'm doing a reading, I don't want to have any information. I find I always say to my client when they sit down with me, please, do not tell me anything. Do not tell me any names, don't give me anything. I prefer to work with a blank canvas.
Okay then. Now, you would also advise people on what colours to wear, wouldn't you, for certain situations?
Yes.
So let's let's look at relationships, for example, which is a very common thread in your work, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes,
and it's
it is.
something you like to sort of delve into is relationships, shall I say, isn't it?
It is.
What advice would you give to someone that's going out on a date? What colours would you wear?
Okay, if a person was going out on a first date, I would suggest to them that a good colour to wear for a first date. They've spoken and they're going to have their first date. I would say pink. It's soft, it's softening to the other person. Now, I'm not saying wear bright pink, I would say soft pink, and you can blend that with white, and it's a lovely, gentle vibe for the other person that's with them.
And is it the same for the gentleman as well? I mean, is that
not necessarily, but they can wear maybe not necessarily. It can be different for the guy. I mean, pink is good For some guys, it can be. If they're not comfortable with it, there are other ways you can wear pink and white. You don't have to wear a shirt in pink or white unless you feel really comfortable with it. You can wear something around your wrist, you could wear something around your neck. It can be very subtle to enhance that positive feeling.
What if you just want to sort of be like a casual relationship? I mean, is there colours for that as well?
I would say, even if it's a casual relationship, I would say for a casual, there's different kinds of things that people want from relationships.
Yeah.
If it's like a get-to-know-me relationship and they want to just have a very casual, fun evening, and sort of like a real fun evening, I would say
like
black.
A romantic
Black
evening, yeah.
Black
Black
is
a
good.
good colour.
Black
right.
is enticing and it's good for that, and it's mysterious and fun. A loyalty relationship, like if somebody wants to have someone and they're thinking in their mind, I really want to trust this person, I want to trust. Brown is very grounding and it's loyal. It's a loyal colour that I find, for me, that's a colour I would recommend to someone to wear.
Okay, and this is much from the female side
Both.
to wear this. Both.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's not just women, it's men too. Absolutely.
It can be both. And
Yeah.
what about jobs then? I mean, is there
Okay.
certain colours for jobs?
Yes, there are. I mean, there are colours for jobs, and I would say that blue is fantastic. Why is blue good? It's great because it's communicative. It's the colour of it's like the colour of expressing. It's communicating. And that's what one is doing when they're going after a job. They're going to an interview. They're going to sit there and they're going to be interviewed. So it's communication. Blue's fantastic for that. Blending blue and white, again, is great because white is a great colour for clarity.
Okay. And what about, slimming or, the gym? Is there certain colours for
And
that?
that's a slightly harder one.
Yeah.
Because it's really... Grey is good. Grey is good for slimming. But then already I'm thinking it's more about the grey being one tone.
Ah, right.
Really. So, but yes, grey is good. Grey, blending the grey with another grey is good. Blending one colour is good.
Okay. And, how can, is there a way that people, so, generally readings would come to you and colours would be discussed as a way of, bringing the best out of a situation. But that's not everything that you do as well. Your readings are for a lot of personal readings as well that you do, a lot of self-help readings, would you say?
Definitely, I would say most of the time. I mean, there are really curious people out there, and I welcome curious people, I welcome that. But there are people usually that are wanting to get some direction, a little bit of help, a little bit of direction in their life, whether it's an area, a personal relationship, or whether it's work, or whether it's studying, travelling, emigrating, you name it, moving. I mean, there's a whole load of subjects out there to cover. And usually somebody comes to me because there is an issue around one of those subjects. Now, I don't like them to tell me. I prefer they don't tell me, but I will start by using the cards as a focusing.
And what's the main sort of theme or subjects that you get, the main sort of thread of readings? What would you say it's sort of
Well, relationships is quite a big one there because it is something that happens every day in life. It's a big one. Emotions are strong out there.
Just relationships and partners or business?
Relationships in business, my boss, her boss, someone I work for, someone I work with, can I trust my colleague? You name it, that area. Relationships covers a wide area. I mean, it covers work, it covers personal too, family.
And
domestic,
family as well,
absolutely, yeah.
And would you advise if they change their colours they wear, they can change their situations?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
It has a subtle effect. It really has a subtle effect. I know myself going out, today, for example, I've come here wearing blue. Well, it's turquoise, actually. Again, turquoise is a great colour for communication. I was kind of thinking about wearing magenta because that's also a really good connecting colour also. And sort of it's a good psychic colour.
So why then, has your work always so far, been so focused on relationships? I mean, is that something you probably have been destined to do you think? Or what is it for you, for the relationship part of advice that you give?
Well, one of the areas, Kevin, and it's my favourite. It's kind of a speciality spot for me. Why? I suppose because I've always been drawn to people. I've always been drawn to emotions and connecting with people's hearts and connecting with how they feel. Even as a musician years ago when I was playing the piano, like a sense of connecting with someone out there that was listening, a sensing how they feel, and a drawing empathic sort of feeling to want to help people. So that is one of my strong things in the work I do.
And you mentioned there your travels. Now, your travels are very important to you, aren't they?
They have been over the years,
Just tell us a bit about it, because, I mean, you've been to many countries.
I have. I have actually been to quite a few. The Far East, really, Southeast Asia, is one of my real sort of special ones.
Why is that?
People out there, just the people, and some of them that couldn't speak any English. I mean, I would find that sometimes all these little things that have enhanced me today to develop. Don't get me wrong, I'm continuously on a learning curve of developing and learning more for the rest of my life.
But this was a steep learning curve.
This was, yeah, people that couldn't speak any English. Okay, I didn't actually know I was going to be put into that. I didn't know that.
And how did you communicate to them then?
Well, let me tell you a little story. What happened one day when I was going to a department store and I wanted to get some cotton wool. I was out of it completely. And this was a communicative thing that happened. There was a lady in a store. It was in Japan. And I said to her, I went over to her and I said, "Hi, good morning." That's just about what she was able to understand. But when I say to you, they could not speak English, they couldn't. And I said to her, "Cotton." And she panicked straight away because she didn't understand what it was. And she was like, like this. And I said, "Cotton." And I thought, quick, Alison, think of something quick. So, and this is kind of connected to how I work today, because although I didn't think, and this is quite a funny one actually. So what I did was I pretended to take some cotton wool. I went like this. And then I bleated like sheep. And I went, "Meh, cotton, meh." She went, "Ah, like that." And in her Japanese went, "Ah, so desu." And she took me by the hand and she took my hand to the cotton. And there it was. Now, if we think about it, cotton does not come from sheep. It's not made from sheep, not cotton wool. But she understood it. And it was my way of communicating with her. And lots of these different learning curves, I mean, I could go into lots of things, but there were lots of things that...
I mean, there's lots I want to get into you, with you as well. I mean, you know, your work abroad and more as well. Just there's a few other stories. And also your singing songwriting career that you're now pushing as well, and also your other work. So we're going to take a break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break.
Are you seeking guidance in love, relationship or career? Have you ever wondered how colours can change your life? Contact us now to speak to colour psychic Alison to discover your personal colour and choose the right colour to wear for that important date or job interview. Book a reading now on 0800 849 2310 or visit www.themoreshow.co.uk/book a reading.
Visit themoreshow.co.uk/shop to purchase products and services from your favourite past guests. If you're new to this site, you can also catch up on the previous television and radio shows through YouTube and the More Show website.
Welcome back. I'm still joined by psychic Alison Sheryll. Now, Alison, just before the break there, we've been talking about your travels. But something key happened within your travels, didn't it? Some sort of key point which changed the way that you look at the idea of spiritualism.
It did, and it was when I met someone who needed my help. At the time, he didn't know and I didn't know. It was one of those spontaneous things. I had been explaining to him that I'd been studying in a group of sort of self-development, self-awareness, in a lovely, lovely group in London. And it was one of those situations that came about when he said, "Tell me about your studying of what you do in that group." So I told him a little bit about it, linking with hands and sensing. He said, "I want you to do that. Can you do that for me?" And I said, "But we're in a bar. We're in a bar in the middle of town." He said, "Don't worry about it. We can just, it's fine." I was a bit concerned. I kind of thought to myself, well, should I do that in a bustling bar? Anyway, we did, and we linked, and I did notice in the time that our hands were linking, his hand was underneath my hand. We were linking together, and this is what happened. I could sense in my left arm a very, very strong current, feeling like electricity, going all the way up my arm. It was like really strong. I didn't say anything to him at the time because he had his eyes shut and we were like focusing together. And I just said, my arm feels uncomfortable. My arm feels uncomfortable. And then I said, I'm getting a tingling feeling. And as I said, I'm getting a tingling feeling, I then said, I feel thirsty. My mouth is dry. And I sense that there is a need. And as I said that, I was then shown himself having a glass of wine with his family, drinking. And I said, I see you drinking wine with your family, celebrating. He said, well, that's for straight away, that's wrong. Opened his eyes, had tears rolling down his cheeks. He said, well, that's wrong. I'll never celebrate with my family. I'm not allowed to touch wine, let alone water. Anyway, it turned out that the feeling up my arm, he said, the feeling up your arm is the sensation from the dialysis machine that I have to have. I said, okay. I was a little bit surprised, but I kind of sat calmly listening. I said to him, well, as clear as you sit in front of me, I got this strong sense of you drinking wine with your family again. Anyway, cutting a long story short, basically, off I went back to London and went back home. We were kind of in contact after that, but not very much, very little in fact. And I had this dream one night, and I dreamt that he called me up in the middle of the night to say, hi, I've been called, I've got to go. They've called me for an operation, for a transplant. And as I was dreaming it, and while that was happening, my phone was ringing. He was actually calling me. So it took me out of my dream, picked up the phone. You know what it's like when you wake up and you've had a dream and it's whoa. And he said, hi, I'm just ringing to tell you. I said, I don't believe this, I've just heard this. He said, he said, I can't stop, I've got to go to hospital. They've called me for a transplant.
And had you experienced any sort of similar situation before, or?
Not quite like that.
Not quite like that. So
subtleties, different things, smelling leaves and smelling nature reserves.
But this was like alarm bells ringing,
basically.
This
was really strong. Yeah. This is what really...
So what happened to him in the end? Was he cured, or?
Well, he went in, and all I can tell you is today he's married with children.
Right. So this proved to you what, in a sense?
It was a calling. For me, it was like a calling. It was like saying, okay, maybe there is something there that I need to address in this subject of
I mean, you'd always
work.
had an interest in this particular subject, hadn't you? Spiritualism and the life after, yeah.
Always. I mean, I've always been interested, but I'll be very honest with you, in the beginning, I wasn't sure whether it was something I really was going to do on a full-time basis. At the time I was not... it was all the time with me.
Okay.
And every time I turned away, it was coming up. They say a lot of people today that do it today, it's like it chased them. It chased them until they said, right.
But then you, after this, your travels, went to a psychic college in London, didn't you? I mean, why did you feel you needed to do that to enhance your skills? I mean, there's a lot of psychics that never go through that process. So why did you feel you had to?
Well, I felt very drawn to that place. I felt drawn to go there because my sense was I wanted to investigate. I wanted to have a look. Investigate, what a word that is, yeah. I wanted to go in and have a look and just see what else might be there, what would be there. I wanted to explore, that's the word I was looking for. I wanted to explore it and see. It wasn't that I went in there and thinking, right, I'm going to really become a full-time psychic by going into the college. I wanted to explore. I liked the lady that was teaching there. I liked her energy. I liked her vibration.
So what changed you then to sort of do this full-time? I mean, was it a development of the gift? I mean, how long were you at the college?
Well, it will be 6 years now. So it's 6 years that I would have been there. It has been a development process, not just at the college. I've also been involved in other workshops. I went to Arthur Findlay in Stansted and did an amazing course there. I'm always on a learning curve. Even today, I still love to go in and take part in workshops because it's not a question of needing to learn or telling myself I need to go in there to learn. I like to experience. I like to meet other people and share with them. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling to go in and just get into that zone. 'Cause it
So
opens up more doors.
Again, it must be a lot of trust in yourself to be able to really believe in what you do.
Absolutely.
I mean, but that was would you say it was a process to go through that?
It's an ongoing process.
Ongoing process.
We never stop learning to trust what we hear.
Do you question it?
Not now.
Did you used to?
Yes, sure I did in the beginning, because it was like, what is this? What can this, what, I mean, what, wow, what, how? It's part of the process to question. But I have found the less I question and the more I trust and just allow myself to go into what I'm getting and what's coming through, I find the better it is for my development.
So how do you deal with skepticism then? Is it something where you just shoot them off with a one-liner, just, you know, that only they would know, or how do you deal with it?
Skeptical people I expect to meet. I expect them to be there. I welcome them because it's normal and it's natural to question. Skepticism is questioning. That's what it is.
But are they just switched off? I mean, what makes them different to you?
Some of it's fear-based. Some of it's fear of not knowing. And some of it also is not understanding it. So they're coming in from another place, they're coming in from another angle. Whereas I've spent time with it, I've spent time meditating, I've spent time being in that now, being in that moment. So they're coming from another angle.
And you would say you're very much in the moment, aren't you? And that's important to you as well, isn't it, to be in the moment?
I would say it's vital to be in the moment.
What happens when you're not?
If you're not in the moment and you look back, your energy's shifting all the time anyway. So if you think back or think in the future, it's not relaxing and it blocks. Whereas if you go in the present and you go in the now and just allow yourself to just really taste that of what's happening now.
Well, I mean, that sounds so simple, but I mean, and it should be a simple thing to
Takes
live in the
time,
now.
it takes
but
practice.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, how do you begin to practice to live in the now? I mean, is that by saying, don't plan, just have goals, or is that by saying meditation, or what?
Partly meditating, by going into workshops, by going into groups, by going into fantastic experimental psychic workshops. I've done loads of them and I don't intend to stop. It does take time. I didn't do that in the beginning. I mean, there are times now where I may go, oops, and I catch myself, but I do it in time.
But that's consciously being aware of it, isn't it?
And it's about saying, now come on, come back into the present. That's where we are right now. And I come back in and I do it. And it just works better when I'm working with a client.
Well, obviously it's working because you have a lot of clients, you're doing a lot of readings all the time, not just with your TV work, but privately as well. Now, one of the areas you're going to go into is animal healing,
Yes.
or, at least some sort of animal psychic reading. So just tell us a bit about those.
Oh, it's wonderful, Kevin. I'm really passionate about it. I mean, it's new. It is new, but it is certainly, when I say opening up for me, it really, really is. Again, it was an experience I had with someone that their cat went missing, and that's what made me feel, it's another calling, rather like the person I met that needed some help. This lady that was in floods of tears that day, she needed some guidance and some help. I had done a little animal communication course, but I'd already kind of was somehow involved with it because I'd already worked with people.
So when you do an animal reading, you'll get the animal that's passed on come through to just validate that they're still there. I mean,
Sometimes.
how does it work?
Sometimes. What I love about this work is there's no fixed rule. It doesn't necessarily have to be that an animal that's passed on. Yes, it does work when someone's dog has passed into, I call it the next dimension, when they've passed into the next dimension, and it comes through maybe at one of those mind, body and spirit shows when I'm doing, working with that person or privately. The dog will come into my mind or come into the sense, a smell of the dog, a colouring, a feeling about the dog's eyes, a feeling about how they're feeling. That is one of the ways that I work. The other way is when a dog or a cat is still here, but they've gone missing or they've gone on walkabout. And if I want to make a joke about it, sometimes I might say they've gone shopping.
But you can actually find the animal, can you? Or you can connect with the animal.
Connect with them and veer them home. There's a way to do that. There is a process of how to connect with that dog and that cat, which again, I have to say it's new, but even as I talk about it, I'm really excited about getting more into that, because it's another sort of opening for the way I work.
Well, Alison, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
If you'd like a reading from Alison, visit my website for more information. Stay tuned and we'll be right back after this short break.
Are you seeking guidance in love, relationship or career? Have you ever wondered how colours can change your life? Contact us now to speak to colour psychic Alison to discover your personal colour and choose the right colour to wear for that important date or job interview. Book a reading now on 0800 849 2310 or visit www.themoreshow.co.uk/book a reading.
If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.